Hi, this is Jules. Someone requested that I make a video on a simple magical technique that I call the green egg. First, what it is. It's a mild form of magical protection. It's a type of energy barrier, like a force field, but it's not a solid shield that doesn't let anything in. It's more like a filter. It lets in anything that's beneficial or neutral to you, and keeps out stuff that's harmful to you, like non-corporeal parasites, psychic gunk, and general bad mojo. It's especially helpful for empaths, healers of various kinds, anyone who works in a service profession of any kind, and anyone who regularly goes into spaces that can have nasty psychic residue, like certain urban environments. It also seems to have a subtle field effect on reality, including on humans and animals. For example, one time I encountered a stray dog that was growling at me and looking very threatening. I put up the green egg, and it's like the dog forgot what it was doing or that I was even there, and it just trotted off. It also has a mild cleansing effect, so it can help clean off some minor gunk that's already on you, but it's not really designed for that. There are techniques that are better for cleansing. The green egg is more for protecting from stuff coming from the outside. So now I'm going to demonstrate it. First, I'll show each part, explaining what that part does, and then I'll put it all together. And then I'll show you what it actually looks like in practice. I'm going to do it outside because I think it feels nicer to do it outside, but of course, you can do it anywhere. Okay, so first, what you want to do is draw energy down from the sky. And you're doing this just in vision. You're not doing any hand gestures, but I'm going to use hand gestures to imitate what you're going to be visualizing. So imagine from the sky a thread of energy. It could be white or gold. It could be sky blue, but most likely white or gold, dropping down through the crown of your head, all the way down into the center of your chest or torso, forming a ball of glowing light there. And you're going to do that on an inhale. So you're inhaling and letting that form a pool of energy in your chest. That's the first step. And then the second step is you're going to take some of that energy and push it down on an exhale, down all the way into the center of the earth, and plug it into the center of the earth. You can imagine that as literally like a plug going into a socket. You can imagine that as like a rope wrapping around the center of the earth. Whatever works for you. The idea is to anchor yourself. And that goes on an exhale. So it's all the way down into the center of the earth, so that you now have a connection both to the sky and to the earth. Doing just that all by itself is very useful. It anchors you and helps center you, and helps you be less at the effect of stuff that's going on around you. So you can just do that and be anchored. But then to do the full green egg, you then draw energy back up from the earth through that cord that you plugged in on an inhale. So into that same ball of light. So it's expanding now, including not just sky energy, but also earth energy. And the energy that comes up from the earth, I usually visualize that as being a bright green color. But again, whatever color happens for you. Different people visualize different kinds of energy different ways. So that's inhale down from the sky, exhale down into the earth, inhale back up from the earth. Now you have this nice big ball of energy in the center of your torso. And from there, you exhale and blow it out like you're blowing out a balloon into a green egg around your body. And it's how it looks is it's a bright, like apple green color, and it's transparent. You can see through it. And it's if it has a sound, some people have inner hearing. If it has a sound, you can imagine like a glass bell. If you were to tap on a glass bell, that's what it sounds like. For people who have inner touch, it feels very smooth and glass-like around you. But it isn't a hard shield. It feels hard to the touch, but as far as how it acts, it doesn't just block everything out. It's actually a filter, and it lets good or neutral things in, and it keeps harmful things out. So that's the basic technique in those 4 steps. Now I'm going to demonstrate putting it all together. I'm still going to use the hand gestures. So it goes. So that's the whole sequence. But then when you're actually doing it in practice, you're not going to use all those hand gestures unless you want to. So in that case, if you're just doing it, it will look like this. Just like that. And you can even do it more subtly than that if you're in public. So to recap, for people who like to see steps in text form, step 1, inhale energy from sky. Step 2, exhale and anchor into the earth. You can stop here just to anchor yourself if that's all you need. Step 3, inhale energy from earth. You can also stop here if all you need is to gather energy to do something other than the green egg. Step 4, exhale and blow out the green egg. If you need to do it fast, like something is coming at you and you need to respond instantly, you can skip the first 3 steps. Just blow out the egg. Thump. The main purpose of the first 3 steps is so that you're not using your own energy. If you always use your own energy when doing magic, you can end up draining yourself that way. The sky and the earth have plenty of energy that you can use instead of your own. But if it's an emergency, go ahead and use your own energy if that's faster. Probably at first, the green egg will only last as long as you're paying attention to it. But you can, with practice, get it to stay up longer. Just practice putting it up with the intention that it stay there even after you stop paying conscious attention to it. When I did this, at first it didn't work at all, but I kept practicing each day. And at some point it did stay up for a few minutes after I had stopped paying focused attention to it. I actually think that I might have been training a part of my mind to stay focused on it in the background. Then I got it to stay up for a few hours, but it would disappear when I went to sleep. Eventually, I was actually able to get it to stay up even while I slept. Now I can get it to stay up for longer than 24 hours, so if I want continuous protection for some reason, I can just refresh it when I wake up each morning. A couple of caveats here. First, this isn't a cure-all. It does a good job of keeping out low-grade stuff like other people's negative energy and most non-corporeal parasites. But if you happen to encounter a bigger nasty, you might need something stronger. It also doesn't clean absolutely everything off you. It's really not designed for that. If you're already covered in gunk, or you already have non-corporeal parasites making a meal out of you, you might be better suited doing something that's specifically for cleansing, like smudging with sage, or something stronger like a cleansing ritual. If you want to learn stronger magical techniques, I really recommend doing a proper magic course like Quaria. I've researched a good handful of real magic courses, and Quaria is by far the best I've found. It's free and available online. I'll include a link to it in the description box below. Also, I wouldn't recommend using any protection technique habitually forever. Although initially it might be beneficial to have this up all the time to experience what it's like and to practice with it, once you've got a handle on it, you probably don't actually want to have it up all the time. This would be like always washing your hands with antibacterial soap. Having this up all the time will weaken your psychic immune system. You need some consistent exposure to low-grade harmful stuff in order to build up your natural defenses. But if you're sick or you're going into a situation that threatens to be particularly grimy, just like with antibacterial soap, a little extra protection can be very helpful in those situations. Although, having said that, we are going through a particularly major destructive phase right now, so now actually might be one of those unusual times when you might want to have some form of protection going most of the time. I leave it up to your best judgment and inner guidance.